What's good, wealthy community? Wealthy Westbrook's, Henry Westbrook's, back with another video. Henry Aaron Westbrook's, back with another video. Have to throw the middle name in there for everybody who remembers me, knows me as Aaron. Some of you are brand new to the channel. Some of you have never seen any of my videos, none of my content. You have no idea who I am. So let me explain to you who I was and how I got to where I'm at. Because this is what took me to the next level in life. I was born in a small city with little opportunity. Now, I'm not going to play this is the victim and give you some sob story. Both my parents were loving, caring. They weren't together, but they both did their best. However, I've always had this curiosity about life where I'm like, damn, like, how can I get better? How can I get more? How can I have more? How can I reach the pinnacle of success, right? Because you see people in the magazines and the movies, especially at that time, and I'm like, I want all of that, right? So if you're anything like me, you want the best life that you could possibly live. Now, everybody's got a different version of what the best life looks like for them. But for me, it was always just being able to go through my day-to-day without struggling, without having to worry about money, without having to worry about where I'm going to get my next check or when or how. I really just want freedom. That's really been my quest throughout my journey, is just how do I tap into freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, freedom in the mind, right? And for a long time, man, I was just doing what everybody else does, right? Going to get a regular job, which is fine. Work, get a job. It's totally normal. It's totally cool. It's a stepping stone. In fact, your job is your number one investor, your first investor, I should say, because they're giving you money to fuel your other endeavors. So that's pretty much what I started doing. I always knew that I wanted to do more, be more, have more, see more, and experience more. But I started with nothing. I started with nothing. Like I used to freaking, bro, I used to trap. Like I used to sell weed, literally. And that did not really take me anywhere, right? It got me into a whole bunch of trouble, mixing up with the wrong types of people, cost me a lot of time, money, and hindered a lot of my relationships as well. Also, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I don't smoke weed anymore. But I'm telling you this because maybe you can relate to it. I've been an athlete. I was always in sports, and I've always excelled really well in school. So I've kind of been a phenomenon in a sense where even though I had a fun lifestyle and I was part of the cool kid club, I also was very much a scholar and very much intelligent and smart and really always knew what to do and what not to do. But I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I've made my mistakes and I've learned through a lot of mistakes along the way. Um, my parents did their best. They gave me things, they bought me things, they made sure I was fed, had clothing, presents, but I was never like spoiled to a point where I got everything I wanted all the time. I was definitely blessed and I'm grateful for everything that my parents have done for me. And for a long time, I would even blame or like point the finger to my parents and wonder why we weren't like that family or this family, but not in a sense where I was like mad about it, but just like aware of it. You know what I'm saying? But I've grown to the age of wisdom now where I'm understanding, and this is what I've done is I'm understanding that I became and I am the conscious creator of my reality. You are the conscious creator of your life through God. You're a co-creator. So I started tapping into books. Think and Grow Rich, The Alchemist, 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, Seven Success Daily Success Habits, or something like that. I cannot even remember the name of the book, but I truly have a list of over 100 books that I've read. I can't remember all the freaking books, dude. It's too many. But I just started diving super deep into the books that I've, learned about and heard about from people and mentors, right? I would seek information. I would seek the answers from other people who had what I wanted, who did what I wanted, who experienced the things that I want to experience. So I would always pick up a book or listen to a book. And I learned so much about the mind. I learned so much about the 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 paradigm that I was stuck in. I learned things that I didn't know because what I realized was in order to get a better life, in order to level up in life, I needed to level up as an individual, right? So going through school, partying, whatever, having girls, whatever, doing this, doing that. There were a lot of temptations and there were a lot of distractions, but at the same time, I've always been on this trajectory of I need to get better and do more. Now, by no means am I where I want, like where I plan to be, but I've also sort of detached from this concept of planning super far into the future, because I know that as long as I master the moment, as long as I master each day, your life and my life gets better. That's what I want you to know. I started to master each and every single day, each and every single moment. I started implementing the proper daily habits. I started learning about macronutrition and the proper mindset. I started to learn about energy, quantum physics, and I started to learn about how other people were able to reach the next level in their life. So if you're anything like me, you want more, you want the best life. You want to have, a life full of abundance. And I started to realize and learn that we're born abundant. We're born with being rich as our birthright, right? People like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Abraham Hicks, you know, Wes Watson, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee. I mean, I've listened to all of the top hitters. You know what I'm saying? Neville Goddard. I've listened to all these people. I've consumed a lot of their content. Even some of these newer guys on the internet. Shout out to my guy Nero. Shout out to my boy DeAndre, Law of Attraction, Mr. Law of Attraction. Like, we're all using our mind. We're all using our energy faculties and our mental faculties to create the life that we want to live. So as soon as I started to realize that I'm a conscious creator of my life, I realized I can do, be, think, and have anything. And I just needed to control my mind in a certain way. So if you're stuck where you're at, first thing you got to realize is you'll never get new results by operating from the same old you, right? So you need to change your vibration. You need to change your frequency. And you need to level up. And then the key here is what I did was start acting as if. I started taking risks. I started investing in myself, right? From those jobs that I had. I would take my money and I would invest into myself. I would buy better clothes. I would go places like hotels and rent cars and experience what it was like to be in that aura, right? You have to get closer to the dream. I started touching the dream. I would take vacations. I would go to fine dining restaurants. And then, like I said, I would invest into coaching. I would invest into mentorship. I would invest into myself. I would start trying whatever I could as far as getting ahead in business, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work. I've done so many different things in this pursuit of, financial freedom, like from e-commerce, drop shipping, affiliate marketing. I'm on YouTube. I've done different types of sales jobs. I've done different types of marketing jobs. And I'm telling you this all because you need to stick to what works, but at the same time, you need to figure out what won't work. And whatever's not working is either going to continue not to work, or you just need to work on it better. So you have to be able to get rid of your ego and drop the ego and not be so stuck on one way or stuck on one path, because what works for somebody might not work for you. It's not so much, oh, will this work? It's, will it work for you? And will you work on it so that it works? So every single day, what I've been doing is just getting closer to God, tapping into my universal consciousness, my Christ consciousness, my infinite intelligence, and seeking the wisdom, seeking the answers, seeking the path, asking for guidance, asking to be granted with the perspective, because this is really what it's going to take. This is what it's taking for me to get to where I'm at. Now I live in a beautiful city. I've been living in a beautiful city. Half the things, a lot of the things I do, I've done and I accomplished, I never really even truly thought about it, because the reality is God has such an amazing life, such a prosperous life prepared for you, that it's you can't even fathom it. The amount of blessings that your life will accumulate and attract is actually out of your mental capacity of understanding. As long as you stick to the principles, the laws of attraction, the law of exchange, the law of reciprocity, right? The law of polarity. There's all these different universal laws, and I've been learning about them. As long as you learn these, you study these, and you implement these, because energy cannot be created. It can only be transferred. As long as you start to understand what life is really about on a quantum level, on an esoteric level, you can then start to manipulate and bend reality according to you, according to the reality that you have within. So when I say act as if, you need to start acting as if the person that you want to be is already you. You are already that person. It's already done. There's a gap every time you send this desire. You start launching rockets up. You start launching rockets of desire, which is something you should do. But as soon as you do it, consider it done. That's what it says in the Bible. It's already done. So the key here is really changing your beliefs, really changing the way you cultivate your belief system, right? A belief is nothing more than a thought that you keep on thinking. So I've had to change my thoughts. I've had to change my thoughts so much that now Even when I catch myself slipping and going back to the old version of me, I don't let it happen. That's called auto suggestion. So I have auto suggestion. What does that mean? It means that you're able to quickly change the inner dialogue in your mind. It means that you're quickly able to adjust your frequency and your vibration, because you're never going to be at a constant positive high vibration. It's life. It's a rhythm, right? Just like a vibration, it's a wave. But what I've been able to do is catch myself when I'm going back to my old frequency, catch myself when I'm going back into my old ways, catch myself when I start acting like the old version of myself. Why? Because the new version of myself requires that. The new version of myself would not act that way, would not think that way, would not speak that way, would not behave that way, would not respond that way. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to start acting as if you're already the person. You already have what you want. You have the millions of dollars or whatever you want, the millions of subscribers or the clothing or the girlfriend or the relationship or the business. You closed the deal already. You have to start acting as if it's already done. How does that work? You think about it, you picture it, you do a meditation on it, you quiet the mind, you tap into what that feeling would be like when you have it. So I want you to work on just practice. What will it feel like when you've already become that best version of yourself? What will it feel like once you reach your goals? What will it feel like once you got the girlfriend? What would it feel like when you have that successful business? What would it feel like if you had time freedom, financial freedom? What would it feel like? That feeling that you're experiencing in that moment, that bliss, that serenity, that just overwhelming positivity. That's what you need to do right there in that moment. Hold that frequency, stay at that frequency, and don't let the outer world determine your inner world. Because as long as you can maintain that frequency, you can maintain that thought process, you can maintain that vibration and that feeling. As long as you can maintain it, the reality, the outer world will start to change based on you within. That's the secret. So many people are constantly looking outwards to determine what their next moves are. And that was me for the longest time. I would look at my bank account and see like, oh my God, I have no money, or I'm in debt, or whatever the case would be. And because you affiliate and you associate with that, all that's going to do is create a subconscious image in the mind based off what you see, and all you're going to get is more of that. So the secret and the tricky part, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, because it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of consistency and diligence, and it takes faith, right? I've had to just work on my faith. That's the secret. You have to really just not allow anything from the external, and nothing from the external world can disrupt what's going on inside. Now, obviously, things are going to happen. Situations, events outside of things are going to occur. And of course, it has an impact on you. But how do you let it affect you? How do you respond to it? How do you react to it? Always act as if there's a blessing in everything. Because if you just start to think, oh, that's negative, now you have a negative thought, now you have a negative vibration, a negative subconscious seed is planted, and now you're operating from that negative perspective. You're not seeing what's possible. You're not seeing what's actually there. You're only seeing the problem. And in order for me to succeed, what I've done is just focus on solution, focus on the answer, focus on possibility, focus on maintaining my faith, and focus on understanding that this is always meant to be. Whatever you're going through is always meant to be. And there's something you can learn in that moment. There's something you can cherish in that moment. There's something that in that moment is made for you. God never puts you through anything that you cannot handle. I've been tested, fam. I've been tested multiple times. I remember when there's been days where like my credit cards are maxed out. I'm like dropping to the floor on my knees praying to God, like, God, I can't do this by myself. I surrender. I submit to you, because that's what it takes, fam. You're not going to do this on your own. There's a universal consciousness, a Christ consciousness, a God dictating all of this, whether you're religious, spiritual, whatever the case may be. That's just what it is. If you think this is all just accidental and just happened to be happening by coincidence, it's not true. So I need you to get connected and closer to source energy, because that's what I've been able to do. I've been getting closer to source energy. I've been moving towards the path of least resistance. I don't take much time or spend much time on things that aren't working. I don't take the path that's full of friction. I just go with the flow. And that's why you hear people saying go with the flow, because once you're at this level, you start tapping into flow state. You start tapping into the natural rhythm of life. You start tapping into the fact that we're just here temporarily as conscious beings, as spiritual beings in a human experience. And the better you are able to maintain a spirit of success, a spirit of winning, a spirit of happiness, the spirit of freedom, the spirit of enlightenment, your outer world will start to resonate in such a way. You'll start to move a certain different way. People you attract will be an alignment. The world around you will start to reciprocate with who you are truly. But again, if you're only focusing on negative things, or you're only focusing on the problem, or you're only focusing on what's not there and you focus on lack, there is no possible way for you to attract anything other than what you're focusing on, because where attention goes, energy grows and flows. So change the way you look at things, and the way you look at things changes, and the things you look at change. That's what I should say, right? Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. I know this has been a little bit of it's kind of confusing. I'm doing my best to articulate this, but I want you to realize that what's worked for me is really tapping into faith, really tapping into God, really tapping into the vision that I see, the creative visualization that I do, and seeing the best version of myself, and then operating in such a way, having absolutely no fear. Being fearless is so important. Obviously, fear is natural, but it's going to inhibit you and scare you back into your old frequency. Every time the universe feels that, oh, that person's afraid, oh, you're afraid, you're more likely to stay in a comfort zone. I've had to go out of my comfort zone and just lean on God, lean on faith. Even when I didn't understand, I just leaned on the understanding of God. Now, not everything works out perfectly, but it does at the same time. And that's the law of polarity, because nothing is other than what you believe it is. Hot and cold are on the same frequency of the world, but it's just a different vibration, right? It's polarity. They're both right there, high and low. You cannot have one without the other. Therefore, there's some type of connection. There's some type of an alignment. So in every moment, just try your best to stay in a positive mental mindset. A positive mental image is something you need to hold on to. Don't get yourself down. Don't stress too much and put yourself in these situations where you're blaming yourself and you're playing a victim and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's taking sacrifice. It's taking blood, sweat, and tears to get to this level. And that's what it's going to take sometimes. But the better you become, the more ease you'll experience in life. The more grace you'll experience from God. The more righteous you behave and the more in alignment with your best version you act, hitting the gym, do everything that you're supposed to do, learning, leveling up. The more you do that, the more your outer world will reflect that. Again, you cannot expect your outer world. I never expected my outer world to just all of a sudden get better. I took accountability and I realized, okay, I need to get better. I need to learn from people. I need to kill my ego. I need to ask questions. I need to do the research. I need to put my head down and get straight to work and be willing to fail, be willing to try, because that's part of the journey. It's part of it, fam. So many of you are just afraid to fail so many times that you don't even try. You don't even go for it. When you want to talk to that girl, but you're scared she's going to reject you, you don't do it. Nails you back into your old frequency, nails you back into that freaking comfort zone. And then what happens is that repetition creates your reality. Now you've become so used to not approaching, not taking risks, not going to the gym. You're so used to just who you are and what you are that it starts to solidify as a reality. And that's what it is. But you can change. You can change. You can change through your daily habits, through the way you talk to yourself and you talk to other people, through the words that you use. Right? The tongue is so powerful. Pause. But the tongue speaks life or death. Be aware of the words you're using when you talk to yourself and when you speak to other people. Use words of empowerment. Use words of growth. Use words of love. Use words that sound successful, that carry weight, that speak with conviction, that give hope, that give clarity. There's no reason for us to be battling each other, fighting each other. And that's what I did. So many years I spent just like on defense mode and just, and because it was probably because of my environment, I just spent so much time like thinking everybody here, the whole world was out to get me and nothing's fair. And, oh, there's these people in control of the world and there's the government and blah, blah, blah. It's just not how it is, fam. As long as you keep telling yourself these things, you're just keeping yourself stuck. I used to work for $7.25 an hour. So for me, making $20,000 in a week, which I've done, making $100,000 was always the dream. Now it's like it's nothing, right? I mean, it's cool, but it's like the law of exposure. Once you're exposed to something, you can never go back. I've been exposed to so much affluence and so much opportunity and so much success that now I'm humble because I realize there's still so much more to do, so much more to accomplish, so much more to see and have. But at the same time, I'm content because I know that I've reached certain levels that I didn't even really know were possible until I changed my mindset. Now I know that anything and everything's possible, and I see that, right? So I'm constantly working on myself. I'm constantly getting better. I'm constantly just focusing on what can I do today to make sure that I'm proud of myself tomorrow and to make sure that I'm moving the needle forward, right? You got to cut out the vices. You can't be sitting around eating garbage foods, wasting time on Netflix or playing video games or just out there chasing girls and frivolously spending your money and doing drugs and drinking alcohol and all of these things that are just slowing you down and holding you back. Now, I'm not going to tell you like don't enjoy yourself, in moderation. I'm not that straight edge, to be honest with you. But don't abuse stuff. Okay. Learn how to use stuff. And most of the things out there are better left unused, to be honest, because you don't really accomplish anything when your mind is altered. So you're better off just being sober. You're better off just being in the grind mode rather than trying to always have fun and just celebrate. What are you celebrating? Right? You have to stop telling yourself. I had to stop telling myself, oh, I deserve this and it's fine and making excuses, right? Accommodating for my shortcomings. No. Until you are fully embodied of the version of who you are, until you actually have the results, the tangible results, there's nothing really that you should be doing or focusing on other than that which will bring you closer to it. So every time you're straying away from your path, every time you're poisoning yourself, or every time you're just wasting your energy, your time, your money, your attention, all that can be spent, or should I say given and invested into yourself. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not telling you to, just become a freaking priest, but take your life serious for the most part. Obviously, as a Stoic, we understand that life is temporary. As an individual, nothing lasts forever. But the key here is to make sure that you're just not wasting your life. And you're not so comfortable that you give up on yourself because you have more potential than you even realize. And that's what I've been working on. I've been working on maximizing my potential. If you're like me, you're made for more. You're made for better. You're here on this earth to experience life at its absolute peak. But the question is, why aren't you? It's because you aren't that person yet. But at the same time, because of the law, you are that person. You are that person. So start acting as if you are that person and watch your life change. I hope this video helped you, family. If it did, like, comment, subscribe, share, and just tap in with me. Send me a direct message on Instagram. I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to coach you. I'm here to give you support. And other than that, take good care of yourself. All right.